Hello there.
Hello there. How are you today?
All right, yourself.
Good, good.
Let's see, change my name. I think we must have tuned in at the same time. Just okay, we get background going here. Let's see. Let's cut all the way. Blockchain chat. Interesting. Let's see.
Hello, ladies.
Hello, hello.
Oh, let's see. I think I'll try to set up the live streaming service. Should I try to do it for YouTube and everything, or just Facebook?
No, YouTube as well. She's been doing YouTube lately.
YouTube and everything?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me see
She's
if I can.
commented the last 2 weeks on the YouTube people, so I know she's been doing that.
Oh, okay, I'm going to see if I can follow the instructions and do it. Let's see if I can have it all set and ready to go. Shoot, where are they at?
Welcome to our guests this evening, Denise and Natasha. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody. Hello, good
Hello, hello.
evening. I'm going to put myself on mute while I get things set up. So glad
Actually,
to see
Dr. Keisha's
Oh,
following your instructions to do it.
Oh, fantastic. All righty then. Well, I shall not do anything then, except to say that our guest canceled a couple of hours ago.
Oh, okay. So I can't.
And I was busy. So we're going to wing it tonight. We'll still talk about sales, but I'm glad that Talisha's here. And, you know, look, y'all know we'll come up with something. But welcome, everybody. So this is officially Happy New Year to everyone.
That's right.
Welcome to BBC. And yeah, everybody put your city and state in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from.
Why is this coming up?
Put your city and state in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. So we got Dallas, we got Ohio. Good to see everyone this evening.
Oh my goodness, I'm failing.
That's not a word.
It's like, this is a good one to try to figure out.
Okay, because it is
Custom streaming.
It's saying live, so
okay.
yeah, it's saying live. So let's see if Talisha can find you on Facebook.
You know, but I didn't do that whole thing like you showed me the, you know.
Sometimes it automatically catches and sometimes it doesn't. So
okay, well, that was easy. Okay.
Let me see if you're in YouTube.
The title is test, but that's
Oh gosh, that's what I mean. I never saw it.
Well, it's testing 2021, so we are still testing out 2021. There's only 6 days in, and we don't seem to be doing that good with this test. So we gonna keep rolling with it.
Well, all I can say is won't he do it once again?
Yes,
It
yes.
stays in, and we have a
We
little
still
bit.
testing, yes. But you know, the YouTube is still not working. I
Yeah, I
have
was
no
gonna say, I don't see
idea why
YouTube.
not.
Okay.
But that's okay. It'll be on Facebook as a test. You know, we're testing everything out for 2021. So everybody put your city and state in the chat. Let us know where you're coming from. Welcome to Blockchain 2021 and Black Blockchain Consultants. We're going to get officially started in 2 minutes. Y'all know we always like to wait 3 minutes after our time so that we can give people a chance to come in. So put your city and state in the chat. And I thought it was interesting because the speaker canceled because of all the stuff happening at the Capitol. And of course, I saw Tawana and Talisha earlier today. We had a meeting at 4 o'clock and I was oblivious to what was happening because, you know, I'm in my own world and I live in rural America. So I'm really in my own world. And I think part of the conversation maybe to have tonight is, you know, what do you do in the midst of chaos as well? You know, and we can have that conversation too. But anyway, ladies, what do you think? What do you do in the midst of chaos? And Tasha says, keep going. I agree, keep going.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know that there are any other options for us. I mean,
Yeah.
when you talk about us as a community of Black people, we have no other choice but to stay vigilant and keep moving forward. If we stand still, we'll get left 5 million steps behind. So
Yeah.
we just can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
Stay positive and, you know,
Yeah.
gather everything up that's negative and use it to go forward and make a difference, you know.
Yeah.
Change the
I'll
narrative.
say something else that I think is very interesting. I've been an entrepreneur, as many of you know, for 15 years now, full time, and I don't cancel anything unless I'm on my deathbed. You know, it's like if I say I'm going to show up someplace, because you never know where the deal is going to come. You know, where it's going to come. So I'm very much. Unless I cannot physically get someplace, which getting to my computer here to get to Zoom is not, you know, I'm just like, yeah. So Natasha's saying looking for opportunities in the chaos regarding 2020. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So,
and we definitely learned that is possible when we look back at last year, right?
yes,
Absolutely.
Year in review, if you only look at the negative, you'll be in a very dark place. But so many amazing things happened to entrepreneurs in 2020, to people looking for new opportunities, new guidance, people who may have been in jobs that they didn't even love and then got laid off. That could be a blessing to someone because there's always that new door that's going to open that can be better than the last. So, you know, trying to stay positive and not only looking at the negative is important to keeping our sanity, if nothing else.
right.
At the very least, absolutely.
So I'm going to get started with, I just want to introduce everyone to Black Blockchain Consultants because we do have some new people here in the audience tonight. So we're going to try this out, have a little brief presentation here about member benefits. Just want to make sure that we let everyone know that you are here with Black Blockchain Consultants. We are non-coders. We love blockchain. We love the blockchain industry, and we come every week to Blockchain Chat every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. in order to either talk about blockchain and what's happening in the industry, or to interview people who are either cryptocurrency experts or blockchain experts. So our mission is, you know, we want to do something big. We want to just introduce Black people to the new blockchain careers that are out there that are forthcoming. If you want to start a blockchain business, we talk about that. If you want to invest in blockchain projects, we talk a little bit about what to look for, especially if you're investing time or money, if someone approaches you about a blockchain project. And ultimately, we want to build wealth in this $3.1 trillion industry. For those of you who are new, I always tell people that one of the best ways that you can make it in any business, but particularly within the blockchain industry, is to pick a major. And that's our code word for picking a niche. So, you know, when you are going to college, freshman and sophomore year, you usually take general studies, and then in junior year, we pick a major and we go deep, and that's how we build our careers. And that's our way of saying, you know, you'll often hear us say, pick A, and you fill in the blank, pick a major. That's one of the keys to success. So mainstream adoption is coming. This is Roger's bell curve of technology. And what we talk about here within BBC is the fact that the innovators got into Bitcoin and into blockchain in 2008, 2009, 2010. Right now, we have early adopters that are coming in. You see a lot of banks now starting to have funds that they are putting into Bitcoin. You see a lot of venture capital money coming in. We see that we are close to the chasm that's here. And when the chasm happens, that's when the billionaires are made and the multimillionaires are made. And we within BBC, you know, we're about the business of blockchain. So we want to figure out how we can get a part of this $3.1 trillion industry. So some of the member benefits, we have a closed door communication platform called Flock that you would be a part of, where we share blockchain news, we discuss the latest hot topics, we, you know, also wish each other happy birthday and happy new year, and it's a real community in there. The fourth Monday of every month, we do a session where it's actually a meeting, and the members get to meet each other. And if you have, you know, if you're stuck in your blockchain career or your blockchain business, it's a chance for you to talk about what you're doing, and then, you know, say, okay, this is where I'm going. Usually Talisha's in there. She is our tech genius. And if you have a tech question, she's able to answer those for you. Again, if she's available for that specific evening. So we call that community coaching. Also, once or twice per quarter, we host demos. We actually have a white label tokenization platform that we hope to, within our officers, do a pre-demo for. And if we like it, then we will present it to the community. And then we have small networking sessions where you can meet with entrepreneurs face to face. You know, they'll be like once or twice a quarter as well. But we do have a gentleman coming on Friday from Dubai. And this is, again, a meeting and not a webinar, because we want you to be able to talk to him, tell him what you're doing, and he can tell you what he's doing. His name is Damu Winston. He has a product called FinTeachable, where they offer, you know, hands-on experiences around blockchain and Bitcoin. He also wrote a book called I Don't Trust You, but blockchain and Bitcoin will help. And he's also trained 400 banking professionals in the UAE on blockchain 101, blockchain applications, fintech, etc. So he reached out to me on LinkedIn, and I read his bio, and I was like, oh, you're, you know, pretty interesting. Would you want to come and meet some of the Black blockchain consultants? And he said yes. So he will be joining us on Friday at 10 a.m. because of Dubai time.
Yes.
However, you know, if you are able to come in, I would suggest you be camera ready, because that is the way that business is done, is, you know, through Zoom. And now we're able to talk to people who are actively doing things in the blockchain industry. And yes, in homage to Steve Urkel, we do geek out over tokenization of assets, smart contracts, and blockchain security, as well as so much more here. We have our Titan of tokenization, Mr. Eric Spence, who couldn't be here with us tonight. We have Dr. Keisha, who has a love for smart contracts. And we have another gentleman, Daniel Addison, who actually is moving very, very rapidly with his blockchain security platform. And those are the three major things that we talk about. We think if you don't have a previous niche, then you may want to consider one of these that you get into. So we do have our bundle. We also have a ton of other courses at blockchainstudies.tech, but our initial bundle is you could become a member and take the Blockchain 101 course. And that's $197. That's at blockchainstudies.tech. If you have questions, you can, of course, let me know. I'm at info@blackblockchainconsultants.com. So with that, we want to welcome everybody. And Tawana, Talisha, Dr. Keisha, did I leave anything out? I just put this together really quickly before we came on.
I would just add that the Inner Circle community is also a community where projects are being shared with community members. And so people are working on amazing projects. Sometimes they need assistance. And I think it's a wonderful place where networking is occurring and change is really happening. So that's another benefit of the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something too. You can make this what you want it to be. That's what's really important, because what I always say is you are BBC. You are BBC. When you're in our space, your interests come forth. Maybe it's something that we haven't thought about, or something that you're privy to because of your particular professional bent. So come on in and start gathering information, and we'll follow right behind and learn with you.
Yeah, we had one member, or have one member, who has a love for tokenization, and he reached out to a friend of his who's an author, and now they are going to tokenize the author's book, which is a pretty cool project and an interesting way to get experience in the blockchain industry. So we definitely suggest you make it your own. Talisha, you have anything to say?
I also say you can start where you are. I think that's another part. I think people are a little intimidated. They think they have to know everything. It's not a space where your proficiency is required. You gain proficiency while being here. So if you just want to figure it out and know, like, what is it? This is the place that you can ask those questions and kind of get those follow-ups and have that kind of dialogue, where I think it's a little different if you're just trying to Google whatever it is that you're trying to learn. It's not the same. The actual, I would say, interfacing with us at this point, it becomes critical for you to gain and to really ramp up where you want to be, if you want to start somewhere.
Yeah. So hopefully everyone had a chance to write it down. It's blockchainstudies.tech. That's the easy way to find us. And with that, we have, obviously 45 minutes to talk about, we could start off talking about sales. We could do an open mic session. We have another organization called the 10K Project, and we've been talking about wealth resolutions as well. So maybe people want to talk about their blockchain resolutions for the year. I'm open to a topic of the evening. Like I said, I didn't have much time to prepare tonight.
I love the idea of open mic, but I think
like that too.
Start with talking about the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think we would be remiss if we didn't mention that $37,000 Bitcoin right now, and I think Ethereum is up to 1,200 today. So, looking good for us crypto enthusiasts as well as blockchain enthusiasts.
Now, is it too late to get in? Is the question.
Never too late to get in.
No.
It is absolutely never, ever. You hear me? Never, ever to get in.
And I was going to say too.
Time you can get the fractional shares. You do not have $37,000 to buy one. You can buy a little bit at a time, and this is not financial advice, but it is highly recommended that people do their research. But we are still early in this game.
What better way, again, to start when you know what's happening? You have the run going on while you're there. You're not, back in 2007 when people were like, what, who, where? And it was like, you were talking a foreign language. At this point, you can find anybody. Everybody knows a Bitcoin. And they got that part real swift. They may not know what blockchain is, but they know what Bitcoin is, and they can quote that price to you very quickly. So this is the time, I think, we're seeing, again, institutions, and that's where enterprise is always going to kind of play a major role in adoption. But as a retail individual, that's where you have to understand that you are a consumer and you also are a retail investor. And again, this is not investment advice, but you have to understand who you are and how you're participating in the economy. And this is a prime opportunity to see that you get to choose you have, you get to choose how much, where, how you do it. You get to choose pretty much everything that you want. And that's a really strong position to be in. And then again, you have a community to ask all the other questions that may incur because you're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah. I think that people should do their research. I hear a lot of speculation about where they think the price of a Bitcoin is going. And some of the prices I've heard have been very, very high. I think that one of the other things is actually Rob Morton wrote a book called No More the Last to Know. We as a people tend to get into stuff late, whether it's the stock market or any other type of investment or opportunity. So one of the big things is making sure that we're in early enough to really enjoy the gains and see the gains. So Natasha has a question here. Or comment. I wanted to begin mining back in 2009, but the club at the time was very just around women and people of color. Oh, okay, we're not about women and people of color. I would like to create a blockchain that would go to our community first. What are your thoughts? Honestly, I was turned off by blockchain and started investing some of the middle of last year. I hope my comments make sense. Of course, Natasha. So Talisha, you were you bought what? 2010, 2011? Bought a long time ago.
I mean, I bought in I bought early on.
Mhm.
But yes, I started more aggressively buying around 2007 and 8. So,
Okay.
but I did get in pretty early. So that's how
You
you do it. I think mining is one of those things. You have to really understand what you're doing in an investment in mining. And right now, as a retail individual, I don't know if I would recommend that at this moment, because now again, everybody's in it, and that's the price is based upon who's mining it. And so we have those entities that are backing the PayPals and the BlackRocks. They are mining, and they are doing it, and you're never going to reach that point. So either that boat has sailed. So that's one of those things. We did miss that opportunity if you were looking to try to do something from the middle of your house. But that doesn't mean that you can't get residuals. And there's a whole ways to do that. That's browsers. You can get Bitcoin just by reading articles. There's different ways to make that income producing for you if you want to look at it that way. But building a full rig and trying to run it with electricity costs and all the other upstarts costs, I wouldn't recommend that at this point. And blockchain again is the key. I think when people just think, oh, I'm just going to mine, you have to participate. You have to jump on that blockchain in order to do that. So you can't separate. We try to always say you can't decouple that. You got to understand blockchain if you really want to understand crypto. And if you're just looking at it as an investment, as an asset, then there's a way to get around that. But you do need to understand that infrastructure, because that infrastructure is going to really inform how you do it and what power you have. Because if you were participating in a public blockchain, you're getting what you pay for. If you're on a private or a consolidated one, you may or may not know what you're getting. That's like I said, that's the whole PayPal thing. You think you're buying something and you're not. You really are. Those aren't your keys. So it's not your crypto. You can't utilize it in any other space. So that's why understanding the infrastructure is just baseline. You have to understand, where it's coming from, and therefore how to utilize it and what you're buying.
I would love if Natasha can join us, because I'm interested to see why she was turned off by blockchain.
Yeah. So Natasha, if you want to join us, just let me know. I happen to know Natasha too. So Natasha's saying sure. And let's see, I'm gonna have you allowed to talk here. So you're not going to be on camera, but you can talk, Natasha. But I do want to make one comment about the industry. There aren't a lot of us in the industry now either. There aren't a lot of us in crypto, and there aren't a lot of us in blockchain. In fact, the latter part of last year, I spoke with a Forbes reporter who, when I said that there were a group of Black people in blockchain, he said, really? I've never met any Black people in blockchain. So I'm just saying that, you're going to find that in the industry now. And in a way, that's a great thing because as Dr. Keisha says, we're the hot commodity right now. And if you're Black and you're a woman, I know you are, Natasha, because I know who you are, and you walk into certain circles and they're like, oh, and you know blockchain too, you will get all sorts of invitations that you know, you may not expect. So I use that as an advantage within the industry. So you can unmute yourself, Natasha, and just talk to us.
Hey there, hello, and thank you for having these weekly meetings. I do appreciate it. So I mistyped. I was on a small interface, but so I was actually trying to, I wanted to mine Bitcoin back then. So that's what I was stating. And back then, we could use our own computers and everything to do that. So, but I think I was talking more about inclusion, and I think Cherie touched on it a little bit more. I was really purposely left out of a club. There was actually a club that had formed here in the DFW area, the Dallas area, and they just, you know, they just really shunned women and people of color, right? It was definitely a white boys club. So that's why I was a little bit turned off by it, but it was something that I wanted to explore. I work in the technology industry, so I think I would have had the chops to do it, right? So the blockchain that I'm looking at, and I'm making a slide deck right now, I kind of want to open it up to Black people first. And I don't know if I'm going to level any playing field, but I just wanted to know what you thought about that. Does that make better sense?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
encourage you to do just that.
Exactly.
Again,
Okay.
it's just, I'm going to give the bread aisle analogy. You can never have too much bread. So you're
Right.
going to have somebody there that wants what you have because you made it.
Absolutely.
And there's enough of us. And I do think that we may not be represented in you know, in public, but there's a large surge of us. And we've been here for a while because this was truly something that caught our attention first, because it was the ability to not be disenfranchised. So that perked everybody's up, like, I have control. That really was something that echoed in our community specifically. So specifically with crypto, that was the strongest part. And I mean, everybody that was talking about it that I knew was Black. Everybody who I knew in the tech space and beyond, they were like, have you done crypto? Could you do this? Do you know about Bitcoin? You know about this altcoin? Can I create a coin? That was all the conversation in every subgroup that I was in. There was a few onesie twosies, but I think that's where you fit in, is where you make your own. And this is the ability to make your own. So it's for you and by you and for the people that you want to serve. So this is a level of customization that's highly needed and definitely welcomed.
And I'll add, once you build it, the Black blockchain consultants are here to be alpha and beta testers for you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to add. This is exactly the value of BBC. This is your community, you know, so we've got you.
Yeah, so I will also say that there's a woman named Tabania Evans. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She has a crypto called Guap Coin that is targeted towards Black Americans, or Black people across the diaspora. We have a woman coming on in a couple of weeks named Deirdre McIntyre. So you definitely want to be here for that. She has a group called Black People and Cryptocurrency on Facebook with 10,000 members plus. And she also keeps a list of the top Black people in blockchain, top blockchain influencers. Yes. So what I would do is you, Natasha, I know are well-versed in LinkedIn. Right now, with the blockchain industry, you can pretty much get to almost anybody in blockchain. And I've been suggesting to people to come up with your top 25 list of people you want to talk to, you know, and ask them for a Zoom meeting. Most people will say yes to a 10-minute discussion with you. You could talk about what you're doing, find out what they're doing, and you never know where that's going to lead you and whom else you can get introductions to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So does anybody else have any other suggestions for Natasha?
I would say, look.
All right, my dear. Well, I will.
One thing
I'm sorry.
that if she knows what she's looking to do, kind of search out what's already out there and find something that connects to it. I always say sometimes you don't need to build the whole thing, you just need to build a piece. So if you don't want to do the behemoth, maybe you find something that's auxiliary or kind of tangential to what you want to do, and then you build a singular piece to that. And that's your entryway, because we definitely need, I think at this point, we're seeing this grow. We need on ramps and off ramps, as Cherie would call them. That's the biggest thing right now. So not only is it building the blockchains, now we can kind of spit those out pretty consistently, but we don't have great mechanisms to onboard or offboard people and to make sure all that security works. So that's kind of like the niche in the niche is how do you get on and how do you get off?
I want to suggest to maybe checking out stateofthedapps.com. You can see what's out there, see what kind of ideas are there. It's a really interesting site. I'll put the link out there too for that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Natasha.
Thank you.
Now we're going to bring on Richard, our friend. So Richard, you should be able to unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Happy New
Everybody's
Year.
looking
to you.
wonderful.
Thank you
Happy
so
New Year.
much.
Happy New
Yes.
Year.
Yes.
So,
What's new, Rich?
Yeah, what's new?
oh, yeah, there are actually some things new. I was actually talking to, well, first of all, Richard Davis. I'm a member of BBC and also the Inner Circle. I dub myself as a decentralized blockchain digital asset consultant and developer. So
now hold on. Did you change your LinkedIn to that? Because you're not official till you change your LinkedIn.
it almost, I was working it out. It's almost there, but
okay. So we're gonna have Dr. Keisha stay on you for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna open my browser and watch for the update.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
what's new is the book that you mentioned actually is turned into a show, which we've created content on Facebook, and somebody reached out to me yesterday because the whole idea was creating enough content to be picked up by maybe TV or cable and what have you. And somebody has a network on Facebook that's just doing a trial run with us. I posted our Friday live show, broadcasted out of England. Yeah, so it's Breaking Bread, and it's coming along. It's getting noticed.
Yeah.
Good. We're very, very proud of you.
Yeah.
So how can we find it? Maybe you could put the link in the chat for everybody so that we can follow along.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely encourage everyone just to really get creative, because as we are early adopters, you basically have free reign and create something that is new, never thought of before, Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, what you're doing, I have said this numerous times that with tokenization, there are going to be people who want to tokenize their home. There are certain types of valuable assets. And just like today or these days, even though buying Facebook ads is easy, you still have Facebook ad buyers that make a ton of money from people like me who are like, but I don't want to mess it up, so I'd rather go to an expert. I honestly believe there will be people who will come to people like you, Richard, and other people who want to be tokenization experts and say, I want to mess this up. I need to tokenize this specific asset. Will you help me do it? And and same thing with the smart contracts as well that we've been talking about. So you starting with the show, is a great thing in building a portfolio. And I've been suggesting that for a while for people to consider doing. Just start small and build a portfolio. And that way you can experiment with the different platforms that are out there and, see where the trouble spots are and then work through them.
Absolutely. And I remember you telling us about that in I think it was 2 mastermind chats that we had, which you have to stay on top of, being in the circle and notice when they're coming up, and be proud of the mastermind and start building your portfolio. And that's what I did. I took it to heart.
Well, I'm proud of you. And Talisha said that it's the community coaching. She changed the term on us.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's us, yeah.
I like that. That's
So,
good.
so Talisha, the post that you tagged me in with the gentleman with the artwork,
Yes.
we spoke yesterday for about 2 hours. He's the one that put me on his network, the show
Yes, that's why,
on
that is
Facebook.
exactly why I gave you that information, because he's doing, again, he's doing some amazing things in the space. You know, the first blockchain mural, he has all of that going on. And I think, again, that is the community aspect of it. We know we're connected. The 6 degrees of separation is not here. We are about 2, if not 1. And I think that's the power of, I know what you're doing, you know, somebody knows something else, and we just connect you to the source.
Yep, it definitely works. Matter of fact, this morning he texted me at like minutes to 5 this morning. It's like, all right, let's go ahead and approach the corporate arena. I want you as my agent. I was like, okay, let's do it.
I
Right.
love it.
Wow.
Success
Awesome.
to you all.
Yes.
Wow,
So
man.
business is getting done. I love it.
Yeah.
And so Richard may be the first BBC billionaire out there. I don't know. Y'all.
I like the
he's
sound of
doing some-
that.
I know. Listen, he'll receive that, I'm sure.
And we'll just
Yeah.
continue to rinse and repeat.
We
Yes,
love it.
right.
Love it. All righty then. Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to mute you, and then we are going to open up the phone lines for anybody. Do you have a project you're working on, something you're thinking about? Nobody will be able to see you. It's just audio only. Do you want to talk about, our original topic was supposed to be about sales. So we may be able to talk about that for a second, if that's your interest, how to network with people in the blockchain industry. You guys can tell us what you would like to know, what your questions are, what your thoughts are this evening.
I think the sales conversation is really good, because the first thing that you want to sell is yourself.
Yourself.
This goes back to the LinkedIn course. It is what you're selling is you. And you don't have to be an expert. No one is expecting anybody to be an expert. You know more than the next person who asked you the question. So what is it? If you're able to explain it, you're a valued resource. So
Yeah.
that becomes the issue, is where do you feel that your level of comfort is always going to be like, oh, there's somebody else that knows something, but there's somebody behind you that doesn't. And that's, again, where you're building that. And that's, you don't have to call yourself anything, but you do have to tell them the topic that you would like to discuss or have them ask you questions about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard somebody say it this way, this field is changing so much that we're like 4-year-olds trying to teach the 3-year-old. It's kind of, it's just a step above, and it's still, it's ever changing.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic field.
Yeah.
We go through so many things. Like I said, every morning I have to wake up to, check coin market cap, and then see what new blockchain has been released, see what stable coin has now just popped up on the list, because now altcoins are just coming out of the woodworks. There's always something changing. So you don't have to feel like, oh my goodness, what do I have to learn today? It's a moving target. Pick something that you want and just kind of follow that through. And that really could take you to wherever you need to be. And then you'll get little extra pieces along the way, but you just, don't feel the overwhelm. I think that's the biggest thing I always stress, is that you know what you know, and you're able to explain it. And maybe you have a brand new way of explaining it to the people who want you to explain it to them. So that's the best part. And that networking also helps, of just hearing different people. We've been talking about this for 3 years. We have our own little analogies and the little things that we talk about. And then there's someone who comes and, says, oh, let's talk about disruptive technology. And here it was a piece of paper and pencil. It goes back to those kind of things where sometimes you just, you need to just hear and listen, and then to have that dialogue with us.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that people, there's a lot of information out there. And one of the things that always concerns me is information overload. I'm working hard these days on being on a low information diet, which is why I didn't know half of what was going on in DC until, I popped my head in for a meeting. But one of the things that I do is I just use Google Alerts. I set my Google Alerts for the blockchain top stories, and I get them in my Gmail every morning. And I read them as I'm sitting on the throne. I heard some guy say that along, So y'all know how you are. You get up in the morning, you go to the throne, you sit and you're scrolling through, and that's kind of how I consume, my information. Now, what I had not been doing was putting the price of Bitcoin in, but now I might have to do that so that it comes to me every morning as well. But I do think that is a way for you to get the news without it being overwhelming. And if you're like in healthcare, for example, if you just do blockchain in healthcare as a Google alert, then you are able to not necessarily worry about the overwhelm, because it all comes to your email. But I will say, we talked about LinkedIn. Many of you know I'm a business plan writer by trade, but I have business plan writer, and then I have the / and then blockchain enthusiast. That's like my headline in my LinkedIn. And just those, well, people always contact me for business plans through LinkedIn, but people also contact me for blockchain through LinkedIn as well. People are always searching for blockchain individuals. And then I have Black blockchain consultants in my list of careers, and people will say, hey, what's Black blockchain consultants? And you guys can have that too. You can say Inner Circle member, Black blockchain consultants, and you may be surprised who reaches out to you and says, wow, there are Black people, studying this and learning about this. I want to know more. So, so that's just a suggestion for everybody.
And I know that definitely works, that whole Black blockchain piece. We've got so many members who've said that was all I Googled and you guys popped up. So that's huge. Use Black blockchain.
So does anybody else want to be on the call? I see Percy here. I see Jeffrey. I see Johnny. Put in the chat.
Like
Tangi, we see you all the time. Steve. Huh? I'm sorry?
It's like romper room, like I see Jason and I see Julia. I'm like, I love that.
That's hilarious.
I love it. Going back to romper room.
I'm gonna shout out all my friends, Denise and Adil. So Percy is saying, how about, hold on.
But did you
How
see
about Max Kaiser's 2021 prediction for Bitcoin at $220,000? I've heard all sorts of numbers. Go ahead.
Who's prediction?
430.
Max Kaiser.
Oh, my cat.
Okay. There's one today that came that was 435. I think 430 or 435K.
It was 435, I thought.
Yeah, that was out there. But again, there's some predictive models I think that we're missing, because again, they're doing it, they're crunching the numbers in the back. And it really is, this is where the enterprise starts to really churn, because this is not from us just being here for the last several years. It's that instant, like I said, I would say, I hate to say that, but PayPal is doing a whole lot of this. Like it's really them moving and causing the commotion. But when the JP Morgan and Chase comes in and those big hitters are like, yeah, we're liquidating and we're kind of just stockpiling, they're ultimate holders. They know what they're doing. This is pushing it further and further. So that's why it creeps. You're seeing the true aspect of scope creep, because the minute somebody says it's going to hit this, then they go buy it. And then we see all the whales moving across and doing all the things that they're doing. And it's like the minute that 10 mil starts to move, and then it's 100 mil, and it just keeps going and going. So if you look at it on a daily basis, it's kind of funny to watch it, because it's like thousands of dollars, and then it's like somebody just moved $10 million. Like, where are they getting it? It's just like craziness. It's like a little puzzle. I call it like Tetris. Like every piece is falling. You're like, what is going on? And then it's like at 37,000. You're like, okay.
Well, it's the truest sense of supply and demand, because they're not making any more Bitcoin. So, the more the big boys come in and say, hey, we're going to put $100 million and we're going to buy, $100 million worth of Bitcoin, then you're right. It is kind of predictive there.
It has a little bit. I think the market cap, and again, this is interesting. I'm not a data analyst at this point, or a financial market analyst. It's just how the aspects of what is happening. So, the cause and effect, demand and supply are coming into effect. So when you look at those caps in the market, you're seeing again the quantity, and we know what that quantity is. That's the stagnant part. But now again, how is that moving? Because we're only going to get the 21 million of that. Like, that's just how it is. But now we're seeing how they're being mined. And then again, they're using this as a preemptive, and they're saying, okay, I'm already buying it even before it's mined. So we have those players entering the scene now, which causes those really high spikes when it goes from 30 to 35,000 in less than an hour. That's what's happening. And so the market really doesn't show that. It'll show, again, you'll see the dip happen in the quantity, but then it almost like erases itself, and then it hits it back, and it's like, okay, wait a minute, that didn't change. So what has happened in the market? So I just look at it about twice or three times a day, depending on who I need to talk to about it, because sometimes the price is indicative of what I need to do. But at that point, I just say, just look at what you're buying, know that price at that point in time. And people are like, oh, let's wait for a dip. I really don't know if a dip is happening at this point. We keep kind of creeping. So I don't know what that is, but that's where your financial market pro people could probably advise you much better than we can.
Yeah, I think the key though is, it's very risky to wait for a dip that may or may never come.
Exactly.
Seize the day is what I say, right?
Okay, DM.
You can buy fractional shares. You don't have to drop 37 grand in one pop. So, seize the day, because there could be there have been dips, right? We've seen the double digit thousands, and then it went down to the single digit thousands before.
It was down to 3,600 this time last year.
Yeah. So it could happen again, or it could not. Mm-hmm. So I think once you research Bitcoin and decide you want to, because you have to do your own research. Nothing we say here really matters, right? You have to do your own investment research, because this is not investment advice. But whatever you decide to do, I say just start. So if you're not really sure, a lot of people are blockchain enthusiasts and don't know much about crypto. And so I would say start to research, see the advantages, see the investment opportunities, and then make a decision. But at least research it. Don't just ignore it, is what I've been telling people I know, is at least do your due diligence, because if you miss this wave, it shouldn't be because you didn't know. It should just be because you didn't make a decision to do it.
Right. CPA Rebecca, I'm forgetting her last name right now, Rebecca Samuels, was doing dollar cost averaging. I don't know if she still is, but for a long time, she was doing dollar cost averaging, and she was even doing it when it was 17, 18, 19,000, when we saw it high and then it went back down to 3,600, et cetera. So, that may be a way for people to get in, is to just do, I think, she would buy like $100 every pay period or something like that. Again, not investment advice, but just a way for people to think about it as well. That way, if the high comes, you're in, if the dip comes, you're in, and you can dollar cost average like they do in the stock market. So Richard, I see your hand up, so I'll unmute you again.
And we dollar cost average with the investment club, with our Biggie investment club. We do that.
Yeah, Richard, you're on.
Yeah, dollar cost averaging is definitely a way to go if you want to keep it simple. As far as research is concerned, in doing my research, just a little background about me. I actually traded on Wall Street for maybe about a year or so, what have you. And what's important is knowing who the players are and who are the best in the business and or the world. And I've narrowed it down to 4 influencers in crypto that are the best in the world. And just reach out to me, and I'll tell you who the influencers are.
You can't tell us right here?
No, that's in a circle. Put it in flop. Right. In a circle. Put it in flop. Right, so anybody who's listening,
you can't give us initials.
It's Ivan on Tech, BitBoy, MMC Chris, Da Vinci J, and Chico. They all have their different personalities, but it comes down to the news that they're giving, their fundamental analysis, their technical analysis, and the news, and combining all 3 of them. So it's talking about market timing, and on the sentiment and the climate of the market, you know, when to make your plays, whether it's days, weeks, months, or years. In a nutshell.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to put you back on mute, and Jeffrey has his hand up. So Jeffrey, you can unmute yourself and talk to us.
Hey, okay.
Hello, Mr.
Hey, how you doing,
Hello
Mr.
there
Mills?
I'm holding down the West Coast out here. I know we got Percy as well. But you know, I just wanted to jump in and kind of well, by the way, my major and it's changed is identity managed, zero knowledge, the zero knowledge space. I want my identity back. I am just tired of people stealing my identity and controlling that. So that's been a personal interest of mine. And then I'm also, you know, I'm following sort of this advice from John Hope Bryant of letting my 9-to-5 job finance my 5-to-9 dream. So I'm still working on my, you know, 5-to-9 dream, and I really appreciate joining you guys. And I do want to say one of the best investments I made was that little bit of money I gave to you guys to take the courses. And so when you look on my LinkedIn profile, excuse my dogs for barking. The wife just came in the door, and so they want to let me know, you know, beware. But on my LinkedIn profile, I now have certified blockchain professional. You know, because I did the training, and I can't tell you the number of times I've had conversations with people who see that and they go, "Oh, so tell me what you're doing in the blockchain space." So for anybody who's on the fence about doing it, I strongly recommend it, and I know I've benefited tremendously. And if I go back, I've probably been a part of the group going on 2 years now. I feel so much more comfortable with blockchain because of the group, because of the knowledge, but also the experiences the group has provided. Like we recently did the Chain project and had the opportunity to get in there and do some hands-on work with the Chain product. So that was just a real good way to kind of get yourself involved. And I know for me, my 9-to-5, I work in corporate learning and development, a little bit of a specialization in learning technologies and IT. And I've been in multiple companies where I was in world's largest biotech, Amgen. And all of a sudden there was like, hey, there's this side project we want to tell you all about around blockchain. And I was like, okay, well, that sounds interesting. And that kind of whet my appetite a little bit. And then I left that company and went to Kia Motors America here in Irvine, California. And another time they sat us down and said, hey, we got this little blockchain project involving cars we want to tell the whole team about. So that kind of cemented me to say, hey, I got to get on top of this, because every organization eventually it's going to be like the internet, right?
Right.
I mean, when the internet first started, we all looked at it and said, that's just
What's
the thing
that?
for
Yeah.
the scientists need it, the engineers need it, the rest of us don't. And then before you know it, it pervades every bit of your life. And so now I'm working in live sound. I change my 9-to-5s frequently. Now I'm working in live sound. So anywhere you're listening to sound outside of your home and your car. I look at that industry as one of the industries that is just primed for a technology like a blockchain. And one of the goals that I have, Cherie, and you made me think about it, is I have a pretty good relationship with our leader in R&D. I'm actually going to tap that guy on the shoulder and go, hey, what's the future of our business relative to this technology? Tell me some more. And I just think that because I've been participating in this group and developing myself, I'm so much more comfortable talking about it that without this, I would not be tapping that R&D leader on the shoulder to have a conversation about it. So.
I love it. I thank you so much for doing that because I love anybody who takes action. So the other thing is the recruiters are looking for people who have blockchain experience, and
Right.
they're going past the developers now. I had a recruiter contact me actually asking if I was looking for any blockchain assistance. So I reached out to her and said, well, tell me a little bit about the career market and what you're seeing. And we've been going back and forth. She's in London. And I thought about inviting her as well to come and speak to the inner circle. But
Sure.
one of the things we've talked about is, and Percy has done this as well with regards to, trying to do a project within the current jobs that you have, and then being able to add that to
Right.
your LinkedIn and your resume, and that, that will open some additional career doors for you, which
Sure.
is, which is one of the things we've been talking about. So I'm very proud of you for
Yeah.
that.
And I can tell you the top 25 thing is a good suggestion. I recently sat down and had a good conversation with Trek with 2Ks.
Mhm.
I met him at one of our discussions, started following him, and literally, one day sent him a note, said, hey, if you have some time, I'd like to grab a few minutes of your time to chat. And he sent me a note. We connected up. I forget what we talked about, but essentially, he's one of those folks in my network now, just
Mhm.
from being in this group, and it is tremendous in this blockchain space how you're very close because it's such a tight knit community. The degrees of separation are very
It's like
small, right?
none.
Yeah, I mean, so it's an exciting time. So
Yeah. And y'all know my other saying, it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And
right,
if you want the best opportunities, it's essential that the right people know who you are. And there's no better time than 2021 for
sure,
the right people to know who you are and for you to get the experiences you need. Because now is also the time for you to experiment
right,
with blockchain and run parallel what do you call it, Talisha? Parallel
Testing. Yeah.
databases and infrastructure.
Yeah. You do pilot projects. I
You do
mean,
pilot projects, exactly, and
right.
great.
use case studies and all of that within your companies. So and companies are this year willing to spend a little bit of money with regards to testing some of these things out. So they may put some money in the budget for that. So yeah, so congratulations, Jeff.
Well, thank you.
Oh,
And
All righty then, and we have time. Oh, well, yeah, we have time for one more person. If one more person wants to come on, Richard put in Ivan on Tech. Tech is a great crypto market analyst, so I do know who that is, and he has a few other people in here, so you all are able to grab those individuals. And we do have to invite Trek to come and do another blockchain chat with us. It's been over a year since he's been here, so I'll reach out to him definitely. Anybody else have any other comments? Percy saying I actually met with Nick and Chase, or meet with Nick and Chase tomorrow. Fantastic. They're from Decentology. Dr. Keisha. Dr. Keisha brings in some really phenomenal people. I need to put her on the hook us up with some guests project. But Percy's saying to me, to plan out our proof of concept, wouldn't have met them or even had the idea without BBC. So, and that's solely Dr. Keisha. So thank you so much, Dr. Keisha. Percy,
That
thanks you.
worked out. That's huge. Thank you, Percy, for reaching out. You are
And
our shot.
I will say this as well. In your blockchain travels, if there are people we should have as blockchain guests, if you all do a demo and you're like, wow, BBC really needs to see this, we want the information to come flow this way as well. Definitely tell us if there are people that you're coming across that we need to invite. Definitely.
All
So
right, awesome.
All righty then. Well, Dr. Keisha, I'll give you the floor for a second. Tell us something that people should think about for 2021.
You know, as a teacher, I think the biggest thing I just want to say is, like everybody was talking about, we seem to have a focus on Bitcoin. Let that motivate you to do exactly what we did some 3-4 years back, when we were like, well, what makes this Bitcoin thing work? You know, so that's what will get you right where we are, trying to find out more about blockchain technology and then the use cases thereof beyond cryptocurrency. And then that's when you'll go down the rabbit hole, and you'll be right here with us, and we'll be here to talk to you, because we're a community who totally get it.
Talisha?
I was introduced to a concept this year, which I think is really interesting. It's called a deep ear. And it is that you pick a major or a niche and you research that one thing. You research it, you write about it. So you can do, a Medium blog, a LinkedIn blog, write on your own page, write in Facebook, whatever you want to do. But you set a number of articles or thought pieces that you would like to present, even if it's just speculative. Like, I work in this industry and I'm wondering, how does blockchain impact it? And you do that consistently through the year. You tag that into, meeting the individuals that may have that interest or have a bit of information about your interest, and you set out to meet them. And this is your year goal. This is how you get deep into a topic. You kind of submerge yourself into the topic. So that's why it's called a deep year. And I thought it was really interesting in the sense that there's other pieces to it too. You can make an email list and do all this other stuff. But those concepts of just going deep instead of going wide. Pick something that you like, see what it is, and just keep talking about it. Keep yourself in that mode of like, I need to know more. I need to figure this out, and find the resources that can help you make it more rich and deep. And then you kind of swirl into that own space. And I think that's a really interesting concept, particularly with this subject matter, because you can do that very easily. And there's other things that'll happen around it, but that one thing will kind of keep you pillared into that space. And then, we're here to help you again. If you have those missing pieces, or like, what's supposed to go here? And we'll read your articles as well, because that's what we do. So if you need somebody to come do the Medium article, we'll be there and thumbs up it. But those are those kind of things. So maybe you want to try that. That's a great weird thing to try for the new year, but something to give you some direction. If you just don't know what you want to do, just pick it and then go with it and see what happens.
Yeah. You probably would get to the top of the search engines if you did like 24, one every other week. You probably would get to the top of the search engines. So.
If you use keyword searches, and what you may never know what could happen, but I think it's a nice approach, because it's instituted by you, and you are the main driver. Nothing outside of it. It's just like, I want to know, because I want to know, and I'm going to write about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be about it, and that kind of gets you on a whole new level.
Yeah. Tawana?
I would just say, invest in yourself, right? That means several things. To Talisha's point, invest in your education, invest in yourself at work, making yourself known, like Jeffrey's done and like Percy's done, and sometimes that can be subtle, or sometimes it could be bold, with tapping the CEO on the shoulder and saying, hey, what are we gonna do about blockchain, right? But invest in yourself and make yourself a priority. Whatever you want out of this space, as long as you give it the time and the effort, it can come to fruition. I think that's the key, is really focusing and giving it the time it deserves, and then deciding how you want to, utilize it, benefit from it, or just have the knowledge, right? Everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody doesn't want to build a blockchain. Some people just want to learn it and have that in their back pocket just in case, right? And that's okay too. But invest in yourself, go at your pace, as Talisha said, and know that we're here to help you in any way we can. It's a small investment to join us, but a big investment that you need to make in yourself overall. So that would be mine.
So if you're not a member, I would encourage you to consider joining our community. You can go to blockchainstudies.tech. And also, just like the price of Bitcoin is going up, the opportunities within blockchain are going up as well, and they're going to go up substantially. And our people stand to be left behind, and I just don't want to see that happen. So, the whole point of BBC is like Tawana is saying, is just to introduce our people to this so that, you know, they have as many options and we have as many options as possible. There are going to be multi-billionaires made in this industry. There are going to be multi-millionaires made. And I would love to see most of you, if not all of you, you know, just get your piece based on what Tawana said, whatever way that looks like for you. So we're here to support you with that.
For those inner circle members that become billionaires, don't forget where it all started. Right
Yes. Yes. And not only props, but donations too.
I get my 10% cut because I'm always your technical advisor. So you've given me my, I know how to find you.
All right, everybody. Well, if you are a BBC member, you'll receive a couple more notices about Damn Winston, who will be here on Friday. Hope as many of you as possible can come. And, you know, we're just looking forward to a great 2021. And, you know, this is the year of us building relationships. We're just saying t-shirts for everyone. So
Rich knows he owes me a t-shirt because he knows that I want a t-shirt.
Oh yeah,
Richard, t-shirts and donations when you become a billionaire. The BBC donation, please. All righty then, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we will see you either on Friday or next week for Blockchain Chat. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, let's see, I need to